together. We're just chatting. Hey, what is up, everyone? I'm Kelly Roach, and I have my amazing sales director, Derek, here with me today. Hey, Derek.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Kelly.
What is up? Welcome. As you all join us, make sure you comment in the chat, say hello, let us know where you're tuning in from. We're excited to chat with you guys. So we decided to put together a follow-up to last week's session. So for anyone that missed it, last week I came live with one of our leaders on our client services side of the business. And we were really talking about kind of the mindset required and the strategy required to thrive during an economic downturn. We all are well aware of the changes happening in the landscape right now. It's a little shaky out there, right, Derek? A little shaky. But we still have many clients who are absolutely thriving, even despite the challenges that we're seeing in the world all around us. And that's the beauty of entrepreneurship, right? You can create your own economy. Now, when we were doing this session last week, we got a lot of feedback from people really asking, how do I start making changes now to be in a position to still grow during this downturn that's coming? And so I recruited Derek. Derek came and joined me today, and we're going to do a little bit of a follow-up to that because, Derek gets to see the before and after, which is really, really cool. He's one of the only people in the company that gets to have conversations with people, sometimes starting months before they ever start working with us. So he gets to see their before. And then he gets to see them come live during our launches and post in our Facebook groups and share about their wins and their successes. So he gets to see that before and after transformation quite a bit. So I'm going to call on Derek to talk a little bit about what he gets to witness as people cross that bridge. And what I want to do for you all today is I really want to answer this question that came up last week when you were all kind of reaching out after the live stream and saying, okay, I want to get started now. How do I begin to make the right changes? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Now, all of this to say, we are going to be sharing a link with you throughout this entire session because you have an opportunity to spend an entire week and a half, 1 hour a day that will change your life. You want to talk about getting your business on a completely different trajectory for 2023. Okay. Derek, myself, the executive leadership team in our company, we're putting on an amazing masterclass series starting on December 5th. So write it down, put it in your calendar, starting on December 5th, 12 p.m. Eastern each day for a week and a half. And during these sessions, we're going to take these conversations that we're having in the live streams, and we're actually going to give you a methodology, a step-by-step process to follow to scale with simplicity. Okay. And as we talk through today's session, I think you're all going to really understand why the businesses that will thrive during the downturn that is upon us and already unfolding are going to be those who simplify. And we're going to talk about the who, what, when, where, why. And Derek's going to be able to fill in a lot of gaps from the standpoint of what does the actual execution of this look like. I'm going to talk a little bit from a strategy standpoint, and you all can feel free to post comments in the chat, post questions in the chat. We love taking questions live, so we would absolutely love to hear questions coming in from all of you. So Derek, I'll kick us off, and then you can jump in and we'll play catch. Okay. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Awesome. So the first big thing to answer this question, how do I prepare to be able to thrive in this environment, is you have to identify all of the barriers that are currently between you and your market. Okay. This sounds simple, but I always say business is simple. We make it complicated, right? We make it hard. And when you're in a really fast growth economy, you tend to start adding lots of bells and whistles, and we want to try this and we want to add that, and we're doing all of these different things because everything's kind of working. And so you have the luxury of being a little less tight and clean with what you're doing because it's really easy to do business in that environment. And regardless of whatever your experience was over the last couple years, the last couple of years were not a true representation of the economy because there was so much money being pumped into the economy that people had more money to spend. They had more disposable income, and they, in many instances, had more time. So when you think about, well, I'll ask Derek, what are some of the top sales objections that we hear every single day?
Money.
Money and time.
Money and time.
Right?
Yep.
So if we look at the last couple years, what did people have? They had more money and they had more time. Both of those things just went away, right? Everyone's expenses are up. Everyone's disposable income is down. And we have less time than ever because now people didn't travel for 2 years. They didn't see their families for 2 years. They didn't take a vacation for 2 years. They didn't do their hobbies for 2 years. They have all these things that have piled up that are kind of like now, like kind of catching up with us a little bit, right? And so they're kind of playing catch up. So what does that mean for you as a business owner that wants to sell your products or services in an environment like this? Well, what that means is people have less money and less time, which means you are going to have to be way more consistent and way more relational in your approach to marketing. And that means that you're going to have to cut a little bit of the noise out of what you're doing. It means heart to heart, face to face, hip to hip. You're on camera, you're on the phone, you're smiling and dialing, you're going back to old school connection. And let's talk about why. So, Derek, let's talk about a little bit of kind of some of the whys of, people need to shift into much more relational marketing now versus a lot of these tools and tactics and other things they've been using the last couple of years because of this. What are some of the things that you would add that you're seeing or hearing out there right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you always see this evolution with marketing, and it feels like everyone kind of caught on to that. So there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of things going on. But what people are really looking for and where you're seeing people actually spending their money and their time are on those relationships, on those actual connections. So in the sales process, it's become a lot less about it being flashy and being the biggest and loudest out there. It's really been about what are we doing to set ourselves apart and really build connections with these people that we think are great fits for our programs or that we would like to work with. It's really kind of putting it back in their hands and saying, no, we want to work with you. This is why, and let me nurture you and show you exactly the difference our program, your program, wherever it may be, can do to get you to the results you're looking for. And that's what they want to see. They want to know that Kelly is there. They don't want to know that I am there. They're not really looking so much at who's being the biggest and loudest out there. It's like, who am I going to actually work with? They want that connection.
Yeah. And I think connection is the key. And what I'll really emphasize that I think it's important for all business owners to understand the distinction between is content and marketing and automation. All of these things can be used for brand awareness and brand discoverability. And we use all of those things, of course. And they're really, really powerful for introducing people to the brand and helping people see the authority and the impact of the brand. However, in an environment like the one that we're in today, and this is going to not only expand but accelerate massively over the course of 2023, that's increasingly going to become not enough. It's increasingly going to become not enough. And what I mean by that is, to the point that Derek just made, they'll listen to 25 of your videos. They'll watch your launch, or they'll listen to your podcast, or they'll study what you're doing online. But at the end of the day, they want to buy from a service provider where they feel like there's a human being behind the brand. Okay. And that human doesn't need to be you all the time, right? We have a large team. But what that means is, even for your team is going to have to completely change the way that they interact with the market, because they're going to need a lot more, I'll call it face-to-face or Zoom to Zoom time with people. And in many instances, it's going to be requiring a lot more patience, meaning you might be having 3 consults with someone before they close for a high ticket program, or you might be in conversation with someone for 3 to 6 months before they make a significant purchase. Why? Because when there's less disposable income, people are going to make less overall purchases, which means the purchases that they do make are a bigger line item on their family and on their business budget. And they're going to take a lot more time to discern that they're making the right choice. And this means a lot of adjustment in the way that marketers and small business owners have been approaching, the way that they sell and market over the last couple of years. Because if you dial the clock back to 2019, 2020, I mean, you could have someone watch a video or a webinar for an hour and boom, they're spending 20 or 30 grand like that, right? And that's not going to be the environment in an economic downturn. Now, what's really cool about this is that if you have patience and if you're willing to take the time to nurture, most of your competitors are not.
Exactly.
I say this all the time. It's why I never get fearful when the economy is scaling back, but I get very intentional, right? Because a lot of people are not going to be willing to nurture that prospect for 3 or 6 or 9 months. But if you focus on being relational in your business and you even find 100 people that you really want to work with in 2023, and you're willing to build that relationship, you're going to see that big payoff because very few people are willing to do that. Derek, what would you say about the relational aspect of the people that you're seeing, make investments in high ticket programs? Because you've recently had a pretty significant number of people coming in for our $85,000 program for legacy leaders. Talk to me a little bit about that relationship building process.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also just to put some data behind everything you were just saying, before and during COVID, we saw it was 8 to 11 touches before usually we'd get a response. That number has now over doubled to where it's around 19 to 24 touches before you even get a response.
Yeah.
So it's something where consistency is another word that's really important here, because again, they want to see that there's a real person behind this. This isn't just a funnel or something that are just getting fed all the time. And specifically for these higher ticket clients, it's the same thing. It's the connection. It's the relationship we've built. I still message and I'm still in contact with every single one of those members that have come in, and they work with us. They feel the people. And that's why when they come in, they're so excited. I just got a message from one of them this morning. She had her first launch ever, and she did over 100 grand in her first launch, which is so exciting. And it was, and she literally said it was the people, it was the connection I had with not only you in the sales process, but then that transition into working with the team. That's what's important. So it's really setting the stage for that handoff into the actual service delivery. And that's why, that whole process is important. But again, we're talking high ticket here. You need to show them that they're going to be working with actual people. And this is why they're going to spend 30 to 100 grand with you over somebody else that has much more marketing out there on the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great feedback, Derek. Thank you. So we just got a question from Danielle, and she said, what would be your best approach to get customers/clients to schedule that one-to-one call with you? And that's such a great question, Danielle. And I'll give some perspective from my side. And then I want Derek to talk about it specifically from his side of how he's, booking calls and building relationships. So again, let's look at the contrast of selling in different economic cycles. When you're selling in an up cycle where people are making decisions really fast and loose, you can literally just put your call link everywhere, invite people to book calls, and they have money to spend. If they like what you have to say, they're like, cool, let's do this, let's go. They want to be expeditious in making the decision and getting the result. In this environment, my recommendation for all of you is when you're thinking about getting people to want to book a call with you, I think you very much have to create the connection for them of what is the value that they're going to get out of this conversation, regardless of whether or not they buy. Let me tell you why. You will find a significant number of people will no show for your calls and or will not book a call at all if they feel that it is strictly a sales call that's going to be a high pressure situation, and they don't want to be put in that situation right now because they want to go through a more serious discernment process because of the fact that they feel like the stakes are high on this decision. This is just psychology. This is just smart business. This is not anything to be fearful of or anything to be oh my gosh, I'm not going to close them. Of course you are. It's just literally a little strategy change in the way that you approach things. So my biggest recommendation And thank you for the question, by the way. Keep sending in your questions because we love answering questions. My biggest recommendation with that, Danielle, is when you're inviting, and you need to be inviting rigorously and continuously, like I'm talking every day, you have to be extending invitations to calls. Make a connection for people between what they're going to get out of the call and what value they're going to receive, regardless of whether or not they make the decision to buy. Because right now, it is way more important that you get them to get on the call with you than it is for you to screen out. In a rapidly growing environment, you're trying to screen people out because you're like, I don't have time for all these calls. I need to be really careful about who I let get on the phone. In this type of environment, you want to get them on the phone because some of these people know they're not going to buy for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, but you're putting them in that top 100 that you're going to build a relationship with over time. And if you never have that first call, then you have nothing to work with. You don't know anything about them. You have no relationship with them. You have no data that gives you those hooks as far as how am I going to keep this conversation or dialogue going until the person is ready to buy. So I would say just understanding that little strategy tweak is really, really important. Before I toss it over to Derek, I just want to remind everyone really quick, we are teaching an unbelievable free masterclass series. It kicks off on December 5th. The sessions are at 12 p.m. Eastern every day. So put it on your calendar now. Okay. It's called the Scale with Simplicity Workshop. We are going to show you how to free up more than 20 hours a week of your time to refocus into the things that are going to get you consistent and steady high ticket sales married with low ticket sales. And we're going to show you how to do that. We're going to show you how to really simplify your focus so that you can grow in 2023, that you understand consumer psychology. You understand the shifts that you need to make in how you're marketing and how you need to approach your sales cycle in order to win and grow as we move into the economic climate that we're all facing. Okay. Derek, I'm tossing it over to you. For everyone listening, the link is right up there on the screen right now, kellyroachofficial.com/scale. This is like a do not miss because we're updating this information in real time based on what's actually happening in the market now. You can't afford to miss it. You got to be there December 5th. 12 p.m. Eastern every single day. Derek, let's come back around on the other side of just what you're observing around the question that Danielle had written in about getting customers to book that one-on-one call.
Absolutely. I think you nailed it on the head with the word value. It's really transitioned into quantity and just trying to get as many people on the phone to talk. It's not as easy as it once was. So now it's really about setting the stage for those people in the initial reach out and in your initial conversations with them as what they're going to get out of it. And most importantly, sticking to that when you get on the call and you don't just transition to the actual sales pitch. I think the biggest lesson I work with any sales manager, any sales team with is listening. I should be speaking the least in any conversation I'm in, because by asking actually pointing questions and by getting them to talk and open up, I'm going to learn all the things that they have going on in their business. I'm going to learn what they have going on in their life. So then I can actually tailor not only the offer to something they actually need, bringing in the value, but also I know what I need to hit on and what solution I need to provide for them based off the information that they gave me. So if you don't ask those questions, if you don't set yourself up in the beginning with, hey, making the offer, I'm doing strategy sessions on your sales funnels for the next 5 clients, I make sure that entire time frame is left for them. If they my ideal point in that is I want them asking, how can I do more with you? Because I've just given you so much value that they're like, oh my God, how can I get more of this? So by leading value first, that's not what they're seeing. I mean, I'm a sales director and I'm still getting 20 to 30 pitches in my DMs every single day. And because I don't know these people. I have no idea what you're offering. I have no idea the value that you're going to bring to my company. I'm not going to take the time to research it. But the people that actually reach out, give comments on my stuff, I start recognizing their name. There gets that familiarity. All of a sudden they reach out. I might read it. I might see what you're about. So it's about establishing that relationship first and foremost, but then establishing that value as to, hey, if you get on this phone call with me, this is the direct result. This is what you're going to get out of it. And then that's what's going to set the stage for that actual sales conversation.
Yeah, that's a great point. Really good, Derek. I saw a question about YouTube and podcast videos. So if you go to YouTube and you search Kelly Roach, there are hundreds of YouTube videos, super high value instructional videos to teach you how to build, grow, scale your business, lifestyle, mindset, all of those things. My show is called The Kelly Roach Show. There's almost 1,000 free episodes. So if anyone's new to us today and you're like, oh, I want to, check out what you guys are all about, that's a great place to do it. Federico, to answer your question, who is our ideal client? We work with small business owners that run service-based businesses. So for example, you said you have a boutique video marketing operation. You would be an ideal client for us. We help small business owners that actually provide a service. So instead of like a physical item, a service of some kind. And we teach them how to use online marketing, sales, team infrastructure, and really leveraging the power of high value relational content and launch mechanisms to connect with their ideal market and be able to make conversions in volume. So Federico, it sounds like the simplicity workshop will be really powerful for you, and you should probably try and connect with Derek actually after this. You guys can chat a little bit. Danielle asked another question. She said, what to say when teammates are struggling with sales? Well, here's the thing, right? Probably most people are struggling with sales right now. Like, if you're not, there's probably something psychologically that you're not totally aware of, right? We're in what's called an adjustment period right now. So everyone is going through an adjustment period right now. And what I mean by that is we're having to change our mindset, our behavior, and our actions to match how to operate in this environment versus the environment that we were in for the last couple of years. Most people are struggling right now because we're in this messy middle of adjusting our behavior to work in this, right? So again, just like I talked about it from the standpoint of like, when you look at marketing in the last couple of years, there's like all this bells and whistles and you're doing all these extra things. And, all of us, like, I'll even give the example of our company. Like, we just pulled my personal brand out completely so that we could really, really focus inside the business advisory on like one thing, right? Because we know that in order to scale in this environment, we needed to simplify. Simplifying is always going to be the answer. So we needed to clear the decks and get a lot of other things out of the way. So Danielle, to your point, when team members are struggling with sales, number one, walk them through what we're walking you through today. The environment has changed. Our behavior has to change. We need to rearrange the way that we're spending our time. We are going to have to spend more time on each person. And now it's the amount of activity, right? So Derek said, before the change, you might have needed 9 to 12 touches to get a response. Now you need 20. Well, what does that mean for your salesperson? It means instead of them reaching out to 50 people a day, they need to reach out to 100 people a day. And that's just the truth, right? It's not personal. It's not black and white. It's not because someone's underperforming. It's like, oh, okay, this environment has just really changed. It's going to take us longer to close a sale. We're going to require more touches in order to do it. And there's going to be more investment from a relationship standpoint to get someone over the finish line. I think, Danielle, if you can articulate that to your team and help them understand the bridge that you're crossing and all get on the same page, like, we can do this, we will do this, but we need to make these changes in order to do this, then you can all go forward together, right? Derek, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I would just say to that too, like you said, we're in this pivot point, and to expect a different result by doing the same thing over and over again, it's the definition of insanity. So at this point, we're seeing these changes, we're seeing what we have to do and how we have to evolve to continue to attract our ideal client. So maybe having that conversation, actually sitting down with your sales team, okay, what's working, what's not? Are you guys actually getting on the phone? Before it was just, hey, let's post a bunch of stuff on social media, get in the DMs, and we'll book calls. Now it's really about, how are we intentionally reaching out to people on the phone, providing value so that we can get them on a call with us? So maybe seeing with them and working with them what's working, and then, okay, let's pivot and create a new strategy from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, we're all in this together. We're all going through this at the same time. No one is immune. So it's nothing to feel bad about. A lot of business owners, I saw a statistic the other day that like over 80% of business owners in the last quarter either lost money or saw a significant downturn in their companies. And again, that is because we're in the messy middle. So people are trying to reset. They're trying to figure out, they're like, whoa, what is going on here, right? And so the most important thing for all of us right now is mindset. right? The first thing I did when I, got my day started today was I sent an audio to my leadership team. I was like, let's freaking do this, right? It's all about us being the role models for the market. We're working through that same adjustment that all of you are at the same time. Our salespeople are too. It's one of the reasons why do I have my sales director on a live with me here today? Because I want the people that he is communicating with, that he's DMing, that he's in audio messages with, that he's making phone calls to, I want them to get to see his knowledge and expertise in real time so that they understand, oh, wow, I get on the phone with Derek, I'm going to get sales tips, I'm going to get strategies. This guy's going to really help me out with my business. This isn't just a sales call. This is a consultative conversation where I'm going to learn something that's going to help me to get better results for my business. And so we're modeling in real time for you, what do these adjustments need to look like in order to get your company set up for success going into 2023. Thank you so much for the feedback coming in the chat, by the way. We love having these conversations and we hope they're so valuable for you. Feel free to keep posting questions in the chat. We're going to be here for another couple minutes still. I do want to emphasize that if your business did not grow as fast as you wanted it to in the last quarter of this year, you need to run, don't walk, and get registered for the Scale with Simplicity workshop. In order to thrive in this environment, you will need to make adjustments. Period. End of story. We're making them in real time. We're modeling them for you. And we're going to walk you through the adjustments that you need to make as well. When you simplify, you can multiply. Okay. And whenever you want to speed up growth, you always have to look at first, what do we need to remove that's slowing us down and holding us back? And then you pull the arrow back, and then it's going to spring forward. You can go to kellyroachofficial.com/scale to join us. It's 12 p.m. Eastern each day. We have had many, many people. There are 2 outcomes that people have had from this workshop. And I'll share that with you. We've been doing these type of, live workshops since 2018 now. We have had 2 major outcomes that people share over and over again. Number one, we've had people grow their businesses by upwards of $100,000 just by going through the free workshop. More than once. We've heard that over and over again. Number one. Number 2, we hear from people in just about every one of these workshops that we do that this free workshop was worth more than the last thing that they paid thousands of dollars for in their business that didn't have any real strategy or relevant, timely information. The beautiful thing about us delivering this live starting on December 5th is that it's live. Okay. It's not cookie cutter. It's not material from 2 years ago. This is us walking you through in real time. What do you need to do right now to set yourself up for success in 2023? There's going to be a huge fork in the road going into 2023. And there's going to be 2 types of people and 2 types of people only. There's going to be the people that freak out, melt down, cut their marketing, pull back, stop launching, and their businesses are going to crumble. Then there's going to be the people that get fired up, they retool, they refocus their energy, they get a new strategy, they listen to the types of things that we're here talking about today, and those people are going to thrive. Why are they going to thrive even though the economy is contracting? Because there's going to be less competition, which means there's going to be more attention, which means there's going to be more opportunity, right? This is not my first time leading through an economic downturn. I was managing a team in the crash in 2008 and 2009. Been there, done that. We can all do this, but we got to get geared up. We have to get in the right place mentally, and we have to have the right action and behavior happening internally inside our company. So Derek and I are really pumped to get to deliver this workshop coming up. It starts on the 5th. You're going to get to hear from Derek, Danielle, Crystal, myself, Kyrie, a whole bunch of leaders in our company that are all working with these clients each day that are still killing the game because they are getting real-time strategy and direction in order to do it. Derek, do you have any last tips that you want to just share? I feel like we could go on for like 3 hours, but any last tips that you want to share just on the idea of the simplicity being the key for these breakthroughs, maybe from the standpoint of the before and afters that you're seeing with your clients?
Yeah, it's sometimes just taking out that messy middle, and sometimes you just need someone looking in on your business. I think that's what's so amazing about this workshops, and we like them so much. Every single person that you're going to be working with and every single concierge that you get to meet, they're actual business advisors. They're actual entrepreneurs, successful people in their fields that are going to be able to work with you on your business in real time on the things that you're going through. So that's really the power here. And that's why we see these people who come back to us months later and say, you got me $150,000 in revenue and I didn't even join your program. Like, how can I
Yeah.
do more?
Yeah.
Or we have people who join our program and make multi 7-figure leaps
Yeah.
in a year's time. So it's the cool thing with this, and that's why we do truly practice what we preach. We lead with value. We're going to bring you the best our company has to offer. It's going to be an amazing start. You know, everyone's getting ready and gearing up for 2023. We want to set you up for success. So we're giving you the opportunity to kind of work with us and also give you the tips and tricks that have worked for us and our clients. So we're excited to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, just a reminder, you guys have all done hard things. We've all done hard things, and we're going to thrive. We're going to duplicate. We're going to multiply in this year of 2023, and we're going to have fun doing it. So, we can't wait to walk you through how to gear up and get ready to crush the ball in 2023, despite whatever is going on in the economy out there. Because you remember, as entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs, we already decided that we create our own economy. So, we're not playing by their rules, we're playing by ours. You can go to kellyroachofficial.com/scale to join us. And we can't wait to see you there. Have a great Thanksgiving for those of you that are in the US. And we'll see you back here next week. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.